Youth sports triggering serious new debates over the so-called Wussification of America. I wonder if that's in the dictionary. We should look it up. Google it. The latest examples include strict adherence to mercy rules, bans on trash talking, and trophies for everybody. But now, big questions over the character kids are really building on the playing field or not, when they're told that no one's allowed to lose, no one's allowed to win too big. Let's bring in our panel. Jedediah Bila, former high school dean and academic advisor, also a Fox News contributor. Jeffrey Gardier is a clinical psychologist, and Stacey Nelkin is a parenting expert and founder of thedailyaffair.com. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you for having me.
And Stacey, you said you actually have a child right now who is in this phase of trophies for everything.
Trophies for everything. She attends a gym class, and for absolutely doing nothing, she gets medals. And she herself does not understand why. She gets it. Kids are much smarter than we give them credit for. They understand that they are getting these accolades for doing nothing. They don't get to grow. They don't get to build character and backbone because they're not actually doing anything.
And Doctor, we hear some studies that say kids actually underperform because if they know everybody's getting a trophy and everybody's going to be on the same level playing field, why should they go the extra mile to win the race, to win the game? If their effort is not rewarded in any real tangible way.
Right. So let's look at what we do as far as being psychologists and working in behavioral medicine. So we give positive reinforcements when you actually perform or respond in a way that we want you to. In other words, earning what it is that you get. So if you don't earn it and you just keep getting the reinforcements, then you don't really know what you're doing or why you're getting it. As a matter of fact, if we take it away from you, then you get really upset.
That's right. All right, Jedediah, because you've worked in the academic setting and in schools, does some of this flow from the fact that schools are worried if my kid gets, if a kid gets singled out, if they don't get an award, if they don't make the team, I'm going to get sued. I'm going to be complaining parents who say, why my kid? And,
They are worried about parents who oftentimes will come up and say, everyone got an award but my kid. Well, your kid finished last. You're not supposed to get an award for finishing last. You're supposed to get an award for being, gold, silver, platinum. There's something to that.
Unless you get an award that says you came in last.
Right, work harder. Try a little harder.
No one wants that. Harder. Learn. We are actually handicapping our children by not letting them experience failure and defeat. They learn from failure.
What's sad is the life lessons that
exactly.
That's right.
Disappointment. There's something to be learned from disappointment. It's also a huge disservice to kids, I think, to not let them learn what they're good at and what they're bad at. When I was young, I wasn't good at basketball. I was good at track and field. I learned that by losing in basketball. And yes, you know what? Sometimes it makes you work a little bit harder, but sometimes it also creates self-awareness very young and say, you know what? I'm great at this. I can do really well. Maybe I'll work I'll work harder at this, but I might not be number one, and that's okay.
The best lessons come from failure.
Absolutely. Well, and the reality is all of us have gone to a job interview or tried out for something or applied to a school and we haven't gotten in. So, Doctor, when kids are used to getting yes, yes, yes for everything and they start to, how much of a failure do they feel like, I didn't get into my first choice, I didn't get that job, why was I passed over? How does that affect them when they don't really have the coping skills?
Well, we've already seen the studies. We've already seen what happens when a person does not get a job and they feel that they actually deserved it, but they really didn't earn it to begin with. And so a lot of these young people become very, very spoiled. And then, of course, the parents make it worse because now they'll actually, and we've done the story here where the parents go in and say, well, why didn't my kid get this job? You have to give my kid this job. And you're talking about someone who's 35 years old and their parents coming in.
Yeah, because they want him out of the basement. They're like, get him out of here, get him a job.
There's a wonderful book called The Blessing of a Skinned Knee. It was a bestseller, and it's all about how we parents need to let our kids fail. We are doing them a huge disservice.
By the way, New York Times piece said that it's estimated now that trophy and award sales are $3 billion a year in the U.S. and Canada. So it monetizes as well.
So there must be a trophy lobby out there somewhere.
I have something for all three of you before you leave. You all get awards. So Jedediah, what about the parents on the other side? We do have these parents who go crazy at games. They're really pushing the kids too. They get very upset. They get in fights with other parents. This whole thing being competitive. If you level the playing field, does that sort of take the parent craziness out of it?
I don't agree. Sports is not about leveling the playing field. It's about going out there and winning. When my dad was on the sideline,
right.
and I was running track. He wanted me to win. He wanted me to beat the person in front of me. Nothing personal against them, but that's
right.
why you're there. You're there to excel. You're there to succeed. So I think this whole notion of competition is interesting. This whole country was built on competition, and that principle of getting out there, doing the best you can do. And I think if you take that element away when kids are young, it really does make a difference as they get older, and they're not the same kinds of contributing members of society.
Something should be said really about the over or the mismatch, and that's why we have some of these mercy rules in sports that says that, you know, if you score 35 points or whatever, that should not be aimed at the kids to slow them down and say, all right, I won't go for the touchdown because I don't want to make the other kid look bad.
No,
that should go to the coach who says, listen, let's not rub it in their face. Let's get our second and third stringers in there and have them learn and level it a little bit more.
We got to leave it there, but I'm going to put you all down as anti-wussification.
That works.
Your trophies are waiting for you on the way out.
Evidently, you've never seen me at home with my ex-wife. Don't get me started. Okay.
Trophies for all of you. All right.